finally making my YouTube channel active again. I have a few videos up, but I was in high school and finally just getting back into that because I've been putting it off for too long. You know, I've been making too many excuses, like when I get a better camera, I'll start, when I get better lighting, when I do this, when I do that, and it's, gosh, 4 years later and I'm still like, what's happened? But I thought I'd just start my channel all over again. I still don't really, I still have no idea what I'm doing, but I really do want to get back into it because it's been on my mind a lot. I have a lot to catch people up on. People who don't know me, my name is Natalia. I'm from the United States, but I live in Australia. I've been living here for just over a year and a half now. It's been absolutely amazing, but I've kind of just fell off the whole makeup scene and everything, which is what I really love to do. I found new things along the way that I liked, and still I keep finding my way back to my whole makeup situation. So I do have a lot to talk about. I'm just gonna do like a regular, like everyday natural makeup, and I'm not gonna really, it's not a tutorial, it's more of like me talking about what's been going on lately and everything that's just happened in my life the past year and a half and a little bit before that, to kind of catch people up and get to know other people a little bit, kind of introduce myself. My old YouTube videos that I made were just really, I was living with my grandma at the time, and I just didn't really do like the whole talking because it's still a little bit nerve-wracking. So we were just like looking at a camera and saying stuff. Yeah, I have a list of things right next to me, and I have my little mirror right here so I can do my makeup. I'll say what product I'm using, but I'm not gonna like make a tutorial today. I'm just kind of reintroducing my channel, kind of starting a new path for myself now, because it's just put it off for too long. So I really want to do it. I'm really excited. I'm just going to prime my face now with some Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. I washed my face and everything already. I moisturized and I toned. One thing that I always put off was when I wanted to start my YouTube channel, like fully do it full time, I'd always say, okay, when my skin's clear, when I have a good camera, and you know, I have an okay camera now, but every time I would be like, okay, I'm gonna film today, I'd always get huge zit, and I'm like, okay, this is a sign I shouldn't start my YouTube channel. But now I have one right here and one right here, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of a funny little sign. But nah, it's acne. Everyone gets it, whatever. I use this little plate to just mix foundation. It's a bit dark for me because it's winter here in Australia right now. I like this. It's from Mecca, and it's actually just white, like white cream, but I don't even know if I did that. It's just white cream. I like the lightener, but I don't like the container that it's in because it just squirts everywhere. It doesn't let you just do a little amount. You have to do a full pump because otherwise nothing comes out. And I'm just using it. I'm just using a eyeshadow brush to mix it. This is all I have. This is all I have. I'm gonna put this on the bed. But things that have been going on in my life lately are, I left the US in December 2018. I was working at a college. I was working at a technical college as an admissions representative, which pretty much meant like somebody who gave tours of the school, somebody who would introduce the new students or prospective students to like what kind of programs we had and that kind of thing. I was working there for 6 months. I loved that. That kind of gave me a bit more confidence speaking in front of people, because I had to like give presentations and stuff to high school students or sometimes to the college students, not like huge ones, but still speaking in front of a group of people that you don't know is a bit nerve-wracking. So that really helped me out with that, and I got to travel a bit with that. You know, drive to different cities and stuff. Not actually cities, but you know, cities compared to where I'm from. I'm from a very small town in Kansas, so anything that's bigger than that, 4,000 people, that's a city to me. But worked at Walmart for 2 years before that, which it was just a job I needed. Made good friends there. But then in 2017, I left for my first solo trip to the UK. I had met somebody and the plan was, you know, to go see him, and then things didn't end up happening that way, so it ended up being a solo trip. Which was fine because that kind of led me to the path that I'm on now. I'm grateful for that. You know, it was heartbreaking at the time, but looking back at it, it's always better when you look back. You know, at the moment it might hurt a bit, but you just see how much you've grown from that. But I just sort of got this love for travel at that point because I had been like, well, oh my God, there's so much more to the world than just Kansas. And if you're from Kansas and you haven't ever left Kansas, then, you know, you might know. I don't know. But I was kind of convinced that life was going to be how everyone else in my town's life was. You know, there were some people who went to university, which I never went to university. There were some people who, you know, their families, business, you know, got passed down to them, something like that. I didn't have that set up for me. So it was kind of like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I traveled a bit. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Saved up more money for the next year. Because, yeah, I left in 2017. Saved up money for the next year and a half maybe. And then December 2018 is when I went to London again for a few days. I actually traveled Europe for a bit by myself. I took a Christmas Europe trip, which was really good. It was really, really good, but it was also absolutely just freezing, and I got really sick when I was in Paris. And I was only in places for about like 2 to 3 days at a time. I kind of just wanted to meet people, and I kind of just wanted to go see like the main sites of places. So I won't get into like my whole travel story that I did, but yeah, when I was in Portugal, actually, I applied for a visa in Australia, and I was like, okay, I'm only in Portugal for 3 days. I hope this visa comes through. It's a horrible idea. Some people get their visas like instantly. I've heard stories. I was next to a guy on a plane once, and he told me that he got his working holiday visa the same day at the airport, and I was like, I didn't even know you could do that. So I applied for mine, and I didn't hear anything back for like a few days. So I was in Portugal. I just kept booking an extra day at the Airbnb, thank God, because there wasn't anybody booked, because you can like check the availability calendar on Airbnb, and there wasn't anybody booked for the next week or two, I think it was. So I just got to stay in this little Airbnb and discover a bit more of Portugal while I was waiting. Yeah, it was the last bit of my money, so I just kind of used the plane ticket. The one-way ticket to Australia was very expensive, very, very, very expensive. So yeah, I kind of used my money up there, and I had been connected with the family previously because I wanted to move to Australia before, but I wasn't sure that it was going to work out just because my original plan was to move to the UK, and that fell through because what I did, I'm just doing concealer now, by the way. What I ended up doing here was being an au pair, which is like live-in nanny pretty much. And that is apparently in the UK, US citizens can't do that. So yeah, that kind of fell through for me. So I was a bit disappointed, and I was like, you know, so Australia was more plan B, which should have been plan A, but you know, things work out how they're meant to. I didn't, you know, Australia wasn't my number one plan, but I'm really, really, really glad that I ended up coming here. It's been probably the best time I've ever had. But yeah, I ended up coming to Australia and living with the family that was from New Zealand, and they are just incredible. I still keep in contact with them today. Yeah, I was their nanny full-time, lived with them, took the kids to school, got them ready. I kind of became part of the family. At one point, it stopped feeling like it was a job. It just kind of felt like, you know, I was just waking up, you know, helping her out with, you know, the kids and stuff, because she worked full-time. And you know, it's probably one of the best, but one of the most challenging jobs I've ever had, because it's taking care of 2 kids that aren't yours. It's a good job if you want to travel and you do enjoy, you know, if you enjoy like family, kind of getting the first-hand experience of things, because, you know, they kind of showed me everything in Australia. I didn't get like a hostel experience where I kind of had to experience it with other travelers. I experienced it with a family that was living in Australia and knew everything about it. So if you want to do that, just, you know, look up au pair. What was it? I think it was, I met the family on Facebook, but there was an agency that I went through for a bit that was called, I think it was Au Pair World, and it's AUPAIR World. But yeah, it was really, really good. I got my driver's license here. I learned how to drive here, and now I got here in January 2019, and it's currently August 2020, and now I have my own house that, you know, rent, not actual like bought a house, but I'm living here now with my boyfriend who I met here. And yeah, everything's just, I didn't expect that this would happen at all, because the one thing I said I don't want to meet anybody overseas because of what happened the first time in 2017 when I, you know, was meant to see somebody that was overseas. You know, that kind of fell through and ended up being really, really, really bad and a bit traumatizing to me, because it kind of just made me, you know, somebody can do something like that so easily and have no, you know, have no guilt about it. So yeah, but everything ended up working out just how it was meant to. Had to go through a few things to get where I am today. But yeah, it was really, really good. Since I've been here, I have got to travel a little bit of Victoria, which is the state that I live in. Yeah, I've got to travel some of Victoria and Western Australia, which has been really, really fun. It's been really relaxed because the last couple of years I was working at Walmart, and I was also a gymnastics assistant coach for a little while there to pay for my travels. So during that time period, it was a lot. It was a lot on me, because I just wanted to fund my travels and, you know, save. So I didn't have that much of a social life for a while. But here, I kind of thought it would be the same thing because I'm taking care of somebody else's kids. But no, it ended up being, you know, if I wanted to travel, if I wanted to do anything like that, I just told her. I had to tell her ahead of time, which of course I'm not going to just leave last minute, but yeah, it ended up being really, really relaxed. And I mean, it was a lot of work because it's taking care of a 6 and a 4-year-old. But no, it's just, if you want to travel and you don't know exactly how you can do it, I would just get a working visa, or I don't know how other countries work, but here you get a working holiday visa if you want to work here for the first year, and just be an au pair. I mean, you don't have to work on a working holiday visa, you can just come here for travel, but I would recommend doing something. And if you want a second year visa here, you have to do like, I think it's 88 days of farm work up in Northern Australia, I think, not 100% sure, but I didn't do that because I met my partner, and now we applied for a partnership visa, which is it's very expensive. So I wouldn't recommend just applying for that just to apply for it. You have to make sure that you're pretty serious about the person and you can see a future with them. And it has to be a genuine relationship. It can't just be somebody that you meet, because you do have to submit a lot of documents continuously, and it takes I think it says 24 months to get an answer completely. There's part 1 and part 2 of the application. It's a lot. It is a lot of work. So if you meet somebody here and you're just planning to, you just want to, it's not going to work. You know, you've just got to genuinely meet somebody, and luckily I did meet somebody and we both agreed on this. So it's what we want to do. And it's worked out really well so far. He's a great guy, very, very, very good. I didn't think I'd meet somebody that would tick every box, but he's ticked every box and more. But yeah, that's what's happened so far. Yeah, I live here. I'm just reading my little list. So some exciting things that have happened since I've lived here are I've gotten on a makeup PR list for Kiss All About Beauty, which is a little it's a small makeup business here in Australia. I remember when I first moved here, and there's a mall or a shopping center that I went to, and there was this little shop in there, Kiss All About Beauty, and I'd never heard of it before. Went in there. That's where I got my first beauty blender from Australia. I've had beauty blenders before, but my first beauty blender from Australia. I got it from that shop, and I remember meeting a girl in there, and she was so nice. She had this short, cute little hair, and she had some crazy makeup on, and she just had this, oh, she was so nice. And I follow her on Instagram now. I'm not going to say her name, but yeah, she is just incredible. She recommended me some really good brushes that I still have here in that little cup over there. But yeah, it just, months went by. I didn't really, I just kind of have the little tub of makeup that I have now. I didn't have as much makeup here as I do back in the US. I had an entire vanity full of it, and now I just have a little bucket, just a little tiny bucket. But yeah, I wasn't as into the makeup game as I am, or as I was in the US, but I'm starting to get back into that now. But anyway, I ended up following the Kiss All About Beauty Instagram page, and she posted something about having a PR list, which is like a promotional, they send you stuff for free, and they, you promote it for them. So I applied for it, and I truthfully didn't think I was going to get it, because I was like, shoot. But she ended up messaging me back and told me I was one of the people who won the PR thing. So she sent me a bunch of makeup, and now I have a ton of makeup now, which is I'm really grateful for. And it's pretty good makeup. But I just didn't think that would happen. Like, I lived in the US for my entire life, and I tried so much to, get on those PR lists and kind of make myself known in the US. But I don't know. I'm like, it's not gonna happen for me. And then I was like, okay, are you kidding? When I applied for it, I'm like, okay, if I can't do it in the US, then what makes me think that it's going to happen for me here? And I know that shouldn't be the mindset that I have, but it was. I mean, everyone doubts themselves. But yeah, I ended up getting on the list, and now I'm really excited, and I have a lot of makeup to work with. I'm going to do a review on the Kiss All About Beauty makeup eventually, because there's some stuff that I absolutely love, and then there's some stuff that I don't love, like normal. Yeah. But life is really good right now. I went through a little rocky stage there for a bit, which was just a month or two ago, which is normal. Just being abroad in another country, you think it might not affect you. You're like, oh, I'm living the life, I'm living the dream. I get to travel. I get to, see all of these beautiful places, and what could I complain about? That's what I thought. I'm like, what do I have to complain about? I'm living a life that a lot of people, wish that they could, and that's why I didn't really feel like I had the right to complain about anything or reach out for help from anybody. So I didn't for a while. I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna hold this in, which don't recommend you do. But yeah, I just got to a breaking point at some point after this whole COVID thing started happening, and just the fact of being away from my family, who I pretty much just lived with my entire life, just being away from them. I always got homesick, but just during this time, especially knowing that the borders are closed in Australia, and travel, if I go back to the US, I can't come back here, which is not what I want. So it's just kind of hits you in the face, and you're like, oh man, it's crazy. So I did go through a little bit of a rough patch there for a bit, but all is good now, all is well. I'm going to therapy now, which is really good. Never been to therapy in my life before. And thankfully with my boyfriend's job, I get free therapy sessions, which is really just something that I didn't, and when I say free, I mean like free. I didn't have to pay $15 like just for something. I just go in there and I go out. No, that's it. So I'm really, really, really fortunate there. But it's just, I felt like I was being a bit selfish and a bit like, oh, because I felt like I was struggling quite a bit, but I didn't want to tell my family or anything like that because I didn't want them to say, oh, well, this is what you wanted. You wanted to live overseas, you wanted to do this, but they were very supportive of me and they told me, you know, you should get the help that you need, and it's been good. It's been good. I've needed it. It's been a very big shift in my life. And I'm very into my horoscopes, and my horoscopes have been very, very on point. And I don't mean like, you know, that kind of relates to me. I mean like when I read it, I'm like, is this directed right at me? So I don't know. I feel like things are aligning just how they're meant to in my life, and I'm having to go through all of these tough times for a reason. I don't like to think that while I'm having like a little breakdown, I'm like, oh, this is happening for a reason. No, I don't think that when I'm having a breakdown, but afterwards and when I work through it, you know, a few days or a few weeks later, I see why I needed to come to terms with a lot of things. Realize that I just went through a big life change, and this is all normal what I'm feeling. So it's been good. I've completed 3 travel journals since I've lived here, and it's kind of cool to go back and read those over and see how I've changed, because it's just, you don't think you change that much when you're currently thinking of yourself, but then when you go back and look at stuff like that, you're like, oh my god, I actually have changed. Something that I wrote in my 2017 journal from when I went to the UK was, one line that stuck out to me. It was like, oh, eating in restaurants by yourself is so weird. And I do that. I still do that. Well, not anymore because of COVID, but before COVID, I would do that every single day. I would go into a cafe and I would bring my journal with me. I'd bring my book with me, or like my little sketchbook, and I would sit in there by myself, and just for hours and hours I would write, draw. I would just do stuff by myself. And that's actually how I made friends here. I went to this cafe called, well, I'm not going to say what it was called, but I went to this cafe when I first moved here, and I would go there every single day. And eventually the people that worked there, there was this girl, and we're still friends today, and oh, she's so sweet. She'd be like, oh, she's like, you come in here quite a lot, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, I try to come in here every day. And we just became friends after that, really, really good friends. And then eventually I became friends with everybody that worked at that cafe. They invited me for nights out, and it's just, I don't know, I think that was the easiest way for me to make friends. And I loved it because I just love to talk. I love to talk. So it was just, it's kind of cool to look back at how I thought in 2017 it was odd to eat by yourself in restaurants, because I was afraid people would be like, what's this girl doing? Like, what a weirdo, she's eating by herself. But no, it ended up actually being a really, really good thing that I would face my fear and kind of go by myself to places like that. And, you know, it's led me to where I am now. Yeah, so it's been really exciting. I'm really glad at the growth I've had. You know, you don't think it's that much growth, but when you look back at it, it really is. I'm getting really off track here because I'm just talking to the camera and I'm doing my eyeshadow. I'm trying to go for a natural look, but I don't know, I might get carried away. I have my ironing board right now, and I have my camera setting on top of my ironing board, and I have my laptop behind my camera so I can see the reflection of the screen on the camera, so I can make sure that it's like at an okay angle. But if it shakes a bit, it's because I have my eyeshadow palette right here, because my other ones are in the bathroom. So I'm just going to kind of go with 2 colors today. Yeah, but I have my little notes right here that I'm going to read. But yeah, I've been getting into astrology a lot lately too, which has been, I always go back and forth between it because I've always read my horoscope. I'm a Libra. I've always gone back into it because it's just like the things that are in my specific horoscope apply to me 200%. And people who don't like astrology, it's alright. You know, I'm not asking people to believe in anything, but like if I go back and I read someone else's horoscope, like you know, an Aquarius, you know, people are like, oh, well, you can just say a bunch of stuff about people and just throw it in a horoscope and they'll believe anything. But when I read, you know, my mom's horoscope or my sister's, because we're different signs, completely different. I'm like, there's no way I could have just, you know, made this apply to just anybody. And that's okay. Not everybody has to believe in it, but I do. I kind of want to do that now here. I've got an idea of how I want my channel to look now, and I don't want it to just be makeup. I want it to be makeup and astrology. Maybe, you know, maybe talk about astrology while I'm doing my makeup, give a weekly or a monthly little overview on horoscopes, give a bit of special attention to Libra because I'm a Libra. But yeah, it's just something that I've really gotten into lately, and I'm into like healing crystals and stuff, and I've got all my little healing crystals right there by the window. It's just what I found that it just fits into my life so effortlessly. And everyone has their thing. My mom actually got me into astrology and my star signs and everything more heavily because she would send me my stuff like every single day, and I never used to read it, but now I do, and we talk about it, and she's like, oh well, she tells me what planet is in what house and all that kind of stuff. That's like really diving deep into like birth charts and stuff. Still learning about it, but I'm kind of starting to understand it more. But yeah, pretty weird, but not really weird because I love it, so it's not weird. Yeah, but life has been pretty up and down actually. It's had its really, really, really good moments since I've lived abroad, but it's also had its not so good moments. It's just like if you do want to move abroad, you have to keep in mind of all of the things that come with it. The biggest thing that comes with it is, for me, being homesick, which if you know me and my grandma, we are so close. Very, very, very close. So it's just, that's a bit of, my camera stopped filming, so I don't know how much I actually got, but yeah, if you know me and my grandma, you know that we are very, very close. So it's been hard to adjust to not having her every day to go to, and it's just been a lot of growing on my part and realizing that I can do a lot of things by myself, and I've gotten a lot of independence lately because I've always thought like I have to have certain people around me to get sort of validation maybe for the things that I'm doing, to be like, oh, you know, you're doing good. But I've come to realize that I don't need that. I don't need that, and I have grown a lot of independence lately, and trying to stop self-doubt so much because it's, I mean, I think everybody self-doubts just a little bit, maybe, I don't know, but I do have a good support system here. And I'm really, really grateful for that. But I've also learned that I am completely just capable of doing anything. And it's hard to say that. It's very hard to say that because people will try to step all over you and tell you, you know, that you're going to fail one day. And that's been a big reason why I haven't wanted to start a channel, or I mean, I guess I already did start my channel, but that's been a reason why I haven't wanted to keep going with my channel, because I love watching YouTube, and I love looking on social media and stuff. I keep up with that stuff. I have my favorite beauty gurus that I watch, and just people in general on YouTube, and you go and you can see how hateful people can be, and it's scary because, you know, it's just like if you jump into that, if you jump into that world, it's gonna happen. You know, when you start becoming successful, or when you start becoming a little bit more well-known, which is kind of what I want, the goal. I keep saying, oh, I don't want to do this, you know, just so people know me. That's the thing probably people might say. They don't want to admit they want their name to be known out there, but I do. I do. I want people to know who I am. I want to help people in any way that I can. If any part of my story helps somebody, or I can help somebody, just one person, anybody. That's good. That's kind of what I want. There is obviously a big part of this is because I love makeup. I've always loved it. But another part is because, I mean, one day I maybe want my own makeup line or collaboration with somebody, but or something with astrology. Like I follow quite a few people who I've subscribed to their astrology stuff. I would love to do that, but I've looked online and I don't see very many astrology / makeup kind of things in the same videos. Like they do obviously horoscope or horoscope themed makeup or something like that, but that's not what I want to do. I want to kind of, I know I'm not meant to be pulling my eye like this, but I don't do my eyeliner like this that much. I'm just doing natural, and then I'm going to smudge it so it can be smoked a bit. But yeah, I want to kind of talk about, I'm not every single video going to talk about astrology and what's going on with the planets and that kind of stuff, but that is kind of maybe like a weekly thing that I would do. Is maybe it's my weekly makeup routine / let's talk about astrology, let's talk about the planets, that kind of thing. That would be something that I would really like to do, because it's what interests me, it's what I like. Don't know who will watch it, but you know, the right people will. Yeah, fear is a big thing that has stopped me from, this is not what you're supposed to do with your makeup, by the way. You're not supposed to, I mean, pull it like this, but who cares? Fear is what stopped me, because I don't like criticism. That is still something that, that's the Libra in me. I like to please everybody. I like to make sure that everybody's happy, but just, I've come to realize it's just not how life works. That's just not what's gonna happen. That's not the way the cookie's gonna crumble. Because no matter how hard I try, there's just people who live for bringing other people down, who live to make people question if what they're doing is worth it. And I've been very sensitive my whole life, and now I've had to go through a few things now to become the person that I am and realize that my life is my life. You know, there's probably people that are going to make fun of my videos, and there's probably people who are going to tell me, you know, oh my god, you're just trying to become another YouTuber, but who cares? I love it. It's a bit uncomfortable to talk to a camera when there's nobody around, and but you know what? I like it, and I just had this feeling in my tummy that I need to do this now, and there's no reason why I shouldn't. I mean, I'm currently unemployed right now. I'm no longer doing my nanny stuff. That's not taking up my time anymore. I'm no longer, you know, working at Walmart. I'm job searching. But this is just calling me. I applied at a makeup store. Hopefully I'll get that job. But yeah, this is just kind of the path that I always find myself coming back to, no matter how far I stray away from it. There's a lot I have to learn. I know there is. I've noticed myself saying a lot. So that's something I'll work on. But I just, I don't know. I just don't want to fail myself again, meaning I don't want to say I'm gonna do this and post one video and not do it again, because it's just not what I want. And I have this little fire. I just have this little fire in my belly lately, and it's just telling me I need to do this. I need to pull through with this, because this is kind of the path that I've always envisioned myself having. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I don't know, I'm just kind of getting bored of not taking action. I think, okay, one day I'm gonna have that YouTube channel and it's gonna take off, and I've been saying that, like I said it before, I've been saying that, and it's just the only way that you can make it happen is if you do it. If you do it. I've manifested a lot of things in my life, meaning when you speak something out loud and when you think it and when you believe that it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It might not be right that second, but like living abroad. I remember sitting in my bedroom when I was in the US and sitting on my little tiny bed, and I had my little headboard on the back, and I'd always stick my head on there, and I'd always just lay there and look at my map that was in front of me, and I had all these travel photos around my bedroom, and I had pictures. At one point I had pictures from all my travels just taped. It was really tacky, but I loved it. Taped to my wall. It was like my wallpaper, all my pictures from my travel. And I would say, I am gonna live abroad one day. I am gonna live out my dream to travel. I'm gonna do all the things that people just say isn't possible for me, because, you know, I've gotten a lot of older people telling me that, you know, go to college first, get a job and save up some money and get some knowledge in your brain before you just take off and see the world. You know, you can read about, this guy that when I was working at Walmart, he told me when I was at the checkout once, he's like, oh, well, just go to college and you can read about all these beautiful places that you want to go to and be prepared. I was like, no way. No way. I told him, I said, it's only reading about places can only do so much for you. It's different to people who travel. You know, it's different than what you're going to read about in a textbook. It's just to be in another country and to just like breathe in that air. Sometimes it's a bit stinky, like in London, but when you're just somewhere else, there's just a feeling that just comes over you, and you just, I just get goosebumps thinking about it. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. If you want to do something, just manifest it. I know that's easier, probably easier said than done. Actually, no, it's super easy to just manifest something. You just believe it's going to happen, and you say it out loud, and you just keep saying it, you know? What does that guy say? There's this guy that I watch on YouTube and follow on Instagram, and I'll put his name on the screen somewhere if I can figure out how to do that. I don't know how to edit videos very good right now, but he always says that, you know, you finally get to live in your dream house. Picture what that feels like. Close your eyes, because your mind can't tell the difference between a feeling and a memory. Don't know if that makes any sense. I could be saying it completely wrong, but it kind of went along those lines. I hope people can see my story and how I'm going to let it unfold throughout the years in my YouTube channel, and I hope I can inspire some people, because I can tell you, coming from a tiny town in the US where people grow up to be exactly what their parents were, and there's no offense to that, because if it's all you've ever known, then, and it works out for you, then that's amazing, and if you're happy, that's all that matters. But I didn't have that luxury to get anything passed down to me, which is no one's fault. Everyone just doesn't get that, you know, lucky card. But even if you do have that lucky card and you want to travel, you can do it. Just do it. There's no right or wrong way to go about doing something that you love, because you're gonna fail. You're gonna learn new things from those failures, because I've had a lot of little hiccups on the along the way, but it's all taught me that things happen in a certain order, you know, for a specific reason. Not everything. I don't believe everything happens for a reason, because there's some horrible things out there. But I do believe that when you're on the path to achieving your dreams and reaching your goals, that there's no right or wrong. you're going to learn something, because you're not going to get there 100%, and you're not going to succeed straight away. You're going to do everything, and you're probably going to fail a few times. You're probably going to fail a lot, because there's been times where I've been really put off. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe that just happened, and I shouldn't do this anymore. But look where I am now. It's been a hot mess to get here, but it's also been a gorgeous, gorgeous journey. I've met amazing people along the way, and hopefully some of those people are watching, and I just want to say thank you. I've had so many people tell me that they believe in me, and it's just people that I don't really speak to. Like, I have like a ton of people from back home just rooting me on, which really just makes me smile and happy, and I hope whatever I did to get to get them to support me, I just need to keep being myself, because I'm just tired of trying to fall into that mold that everybody else wants me to be, and just continue being myself, because it's got me here, and I've got the support that I need, and I'm happy as I can be for the moment. Yeah, so I hope this video goes good. I'm really nervous because I've got no clue about structure. Yeah, I will learn to keep following my dreams and hopefully inspire people. I'm not very good at filming yet, so hopefully one day I'll have everything that I picture myself having right now, and then I'll just have a new set of goals and dreams from that point on. But I've done well so far. Okay, thank you.